Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chatting with Campbell. And I'd just like to listen, the main man, the two main men, should I say. I'd just like to welcome them, Lee Judges and Dan Potts. How are you guys?
All good, thank you. Super Kev.
Are you feeling a bit better after last night?
Listen. I was just going to say while we're here, like, you done the business yesterday, Mr. Campbell. Like, you know, I actually messaged you and said, "Don't you mess this up, this draw." Like,
I know.
and you come up trumps a bit, like, you know, when you pulled out Wimbledon. Oh, I could have kissed you. I tell you, like, that way. So you done well there, like, you know. And then you pulled out. I'll tell you what, it was a good one, like, because West Ham, my mate, you know, obviously West Ham Paul, he's been giving it large, you know what I mean? Like, and when I said, when you done that to them, he weren't happy with you, Kev. I tell you, but that was good. So that was good. And of course, you know, you pulled out Spurs away from home. You done well, Kev. You done well. Well done.
Do you know what? I've got to be honest. Dan, sorry. How were you last night, Dan? Were you okay?
Well, obviously, me and Judges were together, and we were that excited that Judges missed his train, so I had to drive him home. Right? So that's how excited it was. But listen, Casey, it was great, man. It was great, wasn't it? You know, 6 goals. How can we complain? We're all happy, mate. We're all smiling. So that's all good. And well done on the draw, by the way. I echo everything Lee said, mate.
Nice one. Do you know, I got some stick from one of my old teams, Everton, some of the Everton people. We're going absolutely loopy. One person I know said, FFS, Kev, what's all that about? I'm like, I pulled QPR away. I pulled another championship team out the hat for you, and you're moaning. Do you know what? I could have sent you some. I could have sent you to City.
Can't win, mate. You can't win.
I'll tell you what, you've done well with him. Then that's a nice trip to London. Lovely little stadium, QPR Stadium. You know,
and it's a winnable game.
Winnable game. Yeah, you done well.
Hey, by the way, Hilsey is bang out of order. He said, "Kev, what's all that about the draw? Because I drew Arsenal at home and he wanted an away game." you can't please these people.
I must admit, I would have. Do you know what? In saying that, I'd have loved it to have been Wimbledon away.
Right?
You know what I mean? Because it, you know, their new stadium and everything like that. But ultimately,
you want home draws. You want a home draw.
You want a home draw. Yeah, of course you do. Like, you know, at the end of the day, if you want to progress, you always want to get the home draw. Like, you know, so that's what I think. And when you pulled out Wimbledon, I was more than happy with that. So And I'll tell you what, the Everton supporters, they should be pleased with QPR as well, like, because they will be in the next round as well, like. And I'll tell you, whoever does it next time, if they get Man United away, they would be sort of wishing you to do anything.
We forgive you, Kev. We forgive you.
Yeah, all right. One question before we go on to that, like, was you a bit nervous doing that just in case it's a cock up, or was you all right, or?
No, well, you're gonna love this. So we done a practice before the show.
I was just to say, if you've done a practice.
No, so we done a practice.
Yeah.
You do a practice.
Who did we get in the practice?
No, it don't matter who we got in the practice. But you know, with the balls, where the balls are, the tub. So I'm going around, and I think Kevin Phillips pulled out Arsenal. So I went around, and I pulled my hand out. The old thing came off, didn't it? The old thing came off. I was like, I've got to pick a good one for Arsenal, like, you know what I mean? And the old thing came off. It was funny. So they've had to Velcro it down, tape it down, and everything so it wouldn't move because it was wobbly. So I was like, get in there for Arsenal, wizard.
Get out.
So you're hearing that straight from the horse's mouth. So the fact that they taped it down is why we got Wickham. I'm sorry, Wimbledon, and City got Wickham. So Buvey should be happy later.
Yeah, Buvey will be well happy with that.
So let's get into it, guys. We had West Bromwich Albion yesterday. I said it on Sky yesterday, and I'm sure you guys must have said this was a must-win game for us, regardless of who they put out. Is irrelevant to us. We have to win this game. What was your thoughts on the game and how we played? I'll start with you, Lee.
Yeah. Listen, I was reviewing it. I was not up for the game. I was a little bit nervous and all that. And I did say before when we was on air, I said, all I'm worried about, not worried, all I wanted to see was their team first. Once I see their team, that was it. I had a feeling they was going to do that anyway because Premier League's more. As soon as I see that team, it was like, get the beers out, get the popcorn. We was always going to win the game. You know what I mean? And I predicted 4-0 once I see their team on, but someone else went a bit lower than that, but we'll talk to him in a sec, So, but once I see that, it was all about getting through. And listen, we've never been able to. I can't, remember the last time we was in the second round of it was probably in your day, Kev, that we was playing in those sort of rounds, because I don't think we've played in them since it was introduced that the European teams would get a bye in the first round. So it was all new to us.
2004, I think, 2003, 4 or something, since Arsenal have came in at this round.
So
something like that. It's something crazy.
So, didn't really know what it was going to be like. And listen, we're through, and that's the main thing. Look, listen, it doesn't matter if you win 1-0, if you win 1-0 or 10-0, the same result is you're in the next round. That's all it is. Cup football. It's about getting through the next round. I felt that he got everything right on the day. Listen, I'm a big critic of Mikel Arteta at the moment, but I thought he got everything right on the night. He probably knew that they was going to do what he done, but he kept it cautious by bringing a few players in. He done the right thing, and we got the job done.
Dan, what's your thoughts on it? Because I know you probably went with a lower score because you just weren't confident.
Yeah, I didn't have as high expectations as Judges. I didn't. And I was wrong for that, to be honest, because the team they put out was a lot weaker than I did expect. I thought although West Brom have the priority of the Premier League, I did expect him to have a bit more of a mix. Average age of 22. Of course, I was more confident. The prediction that I went with was a 1-0 old school to the Arsenal because I think we've been struggling to score. I didn't expect us to concede a goal, but I certainly expected us to score only one. And to see 6 fly in was outstanding. And I think before the game started, it's always about the lineups for Arsenal as well. Lee talks about, West Brom's starting lineup, but I was also a little bit sort of concerned about how strong Mikel Arteta would go, and I was happy with it. Apart from Kolasinac, I think everybody there really was good to see in the team. It's good to see that winning breeds confidence, Casey. And as you know, as the strikers, we need to start scoring goals, and all 3 of them did. Then that for me is a massive, massive confidence boost for the whole team, not just those 3 players, because what was needed was for a lift. And the fans got it. They were great. I think they deserve a mention, by the way. They were superb, very vocal over there. And, of course, the manager needs a lift as well, because as much as I'm not a huge fan of him, I want him to start winning, because that means Arsenal are going to start winning football matches. So everybody's smiling off the end of the pitch, and it's great for the club, mate. So, of course, I was a happy bunny last night, mate.
I mean, I could tell you this at halftime, I weren't happy. I don't know if you saw any of the footage on Sky. Because for me, I saw Aubameyang make so many runs, and this is before he even scored, Lee.
Yeah, I see that.
And let's interact on this one, because I saw the runs and we were playing short. We were playing to his feet when he's running in behind. We weren't being as clinical or direct as we could have been, and then we started to work it out. I think we're going to get to Martin Odergaard later on in this chat, because I think he knits things together so well in the midfield, and he's got such a great football brain that it allows us to play more on the front foot. But for me, I just think we saw Saka start to come back into a little bit more form. He got better as the game wore on, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah,
because he's been searching for a bit of fitness. He came back obviously late from the Euro, took him a bit of time. Pepe all of a sudden woke up on the right-hand side. And I thought Aubameyang, he was outstanding, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, Lee?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if you noticed from the first goal, Saka had a chance of playing it to him, and he showed us what he was having a little bit of a moan up, but then he went again and he scored. But there was I noticed that, and about 4 or 5 times he was making runs, and we should have put him in the second half. I don't know if you noticed, we done it. There was about 4 or 5
more in the second half,
more quicker. and that's something that we've got to look to do, particularly against City coming up, is getting behind them a lot quicker. And I felt that we didn't do that. We've got to be a little bit more direct. But in saying that, when the intricate play works, it does look good, doesn't it? So, but I'm with you there. I thought, you can't go too much on it because of the opposition. But I like the way Aubameyang approaches the game. Now, if he approaches the game like he done every single game, then I think he'll get goals. I know that sounds silly, because he's against it, but he was trying to get in. But he was trying to get into the danger zones and stretching them and all that. And that's what I think you need. Someone like that's going to stretch it so it lets it in the likes of Odergaard and Saka to do their bits in that little pocket, which Saka, by the way, can do, can't he? Yeah. So listen, we was always going to be a better side than them on the day, But I think you and Kevin alluded to it yesterday when I was listening to you. You actually said that you still got to be up for the game and show that sort of attitude and you could actually turn around and say, "Oh, we've got the under-23s out, and we're going to have a
just turn up and
just have a jolly here today." They didn't do that. They put in a shift, and that, so from that point of view, I was quite pleased with it. So I was impressed with, and I don't know how you feel about this. You goal scorer as well. I know there were only tap-ins, but they give him the confidence for that third goal. I don't think if he'd have not scored those tap-ins, he would have not got that third goal.
Yeah, and I'm going to get to that. Dan, did you have that feeling as soon as he got the ball in the second half and you see him cutting on his right, did you know where that ball was going to be going?
The reason I did was because I actually saw glimpses of it, Casey, against Chelsea. I thought when he came on, he looked sharp. And people were saying to me, Aubameyang's lost his pace. Nonsense. No chance. Yeah. He's not lost his pace. I think where he lost was a little bit of mental strength and some of his mentality. I thought he looked like he had it back. And I think that the confidence that he was showing, that was why that goal went in. And I've got to mention Bukayo Saka as well as Aubameyang in this as well. I know we're going to bring a few more players in later. But for me, with Saka, I'm looking at this kid now, reminding me of like the Cesc Fabregas in terms of the age. When he had the Henrys and the Bergkamps that were kind of scoring the goals. Last night, it was like, look, I'm not going to score the goals, but I'm going to be at 19 years old or 20 now, whatever he is, one of the best players on the pitch. And I thought it was great to see because everybody had this worry, didn't they, that he was going to miss that penalty and then it was going to destroy him. I just want to see him get better and better. And I was really impressed with him, to be fair. But Aubameyang, he looked on point last night and long may it continue. I hope he goes on a run now.
Well, if ever we're going to do anything this season, guys, we need a goal scorer, don't we? We need our top goal scorer to come to the party. We do. Yeah, we know we're missing players and, we're going to have to compete, against teams sometimes without our best players. But if you've got a goal scorer on the pitch, you always have a chance, they say.
Yeah.
But we needed him. We needed Aubameyang with confidence. And, boy, getting the match ball last night was fantastic. Him sticking that one in the top bin was even better. And seeing a smile on his face. I think we haven't seen a smile on Aubameyang's face for a long time. The Arsenal fans were singing his name. The Arsenal fans were happy. And we're not getting carried away. But you know what? It felt good to get a win. What was your thoughts on... I'll go to Dan on this one. What was your thoughts on Martin Odegaard's performance? Because he only played just over an hour. But I thought it was pretty impressive. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I must admit, I was really impressed. Listen, I'm not going to say I was underwhelmed by the signing because it sounds pretty wrong, really. But because we had him last season, I wanted to see that next level elite kind of a creative midfielder coming. But you have to be realistic and understand that we are where we are. And I think that Martin Odegaard does improve the first 11 and the squad. So for me, it's a definite signing that I'm okay with. I thought his performance, and I know the competition and the opposition is not as strong, but that flick for Saka's goal tells you everything you need to know about what he's about. And that's where I think he's different to Smith Rowe. I think he has more trickery and technique. I think Smith Rowe's a workhorse. He drives at defences. Odegaard's just got that little bit of class, that little bit of technique. And I think that's what shone through last night for me. I thought he was outstanding. And I really like the way that he seems to understand. He's quite an intelligent footballer. He seems to be one step ahead of some of the others. And I think you need that in a football team to move forward.
I'll be honest with you, Lee. I really wanted to see the link up between Odegaard and Aubameyang. But what actually gripped me was the link up between Odergaard and Saka.
Yeah.
They were on the same wavelength. They were. And as you quite rightly said, Dan, that little behind the back flick just to release Saka inside the box and Saka to finish it off with his right foot, I thought that was outstanding play. Against any team, that's outstanding play, Lee.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what with Odegaard? I think that I think that I don't know what it is with Arsenal fans, and not just Arsenal fans, the media as well. Always negative, you know what I mean, about certain things. You know, I've even heard people turn around and say, "Oh, he's not worth 30 million." You know what I mean? Playing too much and all that. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's crazy. That's crazy.
I think he come in last season in a very difficult time. Arsenal were struggling last season. He picked us up and done a decent job. I think he's a neat and tidy player. He brings in he neatens up our play, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, and I think they've done that really well. I also don't think you're going to get the best of him until you get a deep line running midfield player that's going to go beyond the defence, so he can pick it out there. At the minute, it's all little intricate little passes because he hasn't got that runner in there. So I think he's got the ability to do that. We need to get somebody in there, like people saying about Aouar in the chat. I believe that's someone that we need. Someone like Aaron Ramsey in his heyday, getting beyond the striker, and I think that will help Odegaard then with his passing. At the minute, he's got to be all neat and tidy and intricate, but it's working. You know, I think he's a very, very good player, and I quite like him. Like, you know, so just want to say, like, Jen's in the old chat, like with the old cup of coffee, like, you know, and we went round here the other week, Dan, didn't we? And had a lot of tea and biscuits. So thanks,
Good to see you, Jen. Thank you, Jen.
Nice one, Jen. Nice one.
Makes a nice cup of coffee, Kev. I've got to say that.
Nice
Biscuits
one
as well, mate. Biscuits as well.
I'll have mine black if you don't mind.
There you go.
Guys, just as you touch on it, and as you said, it's in the chat. Hossein Aouar, would you still take him?
100%.
Yes.
Because with Odegaard, with ESR, with Saka, obviously we got Partey to come back. Would that make us a lot stronger with Aouar in there as well?
100%. We need someone like our midfield needs an upgrade, Kev. We need a Basuma as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, you know, I've just been on the Manchester City, Man City fan TV, and I said, "What? How many players? You know, we need. You know, people say we need another 4 to complete. We need another midfield player that's going to be, you know, to combative, energetic." Over there, like, you know what I mean, like, to go along with that, we need someone that's going to be a deep line running midfield player. Yeah, 100%. Like, you know, and I because I honestly think that, in my opinion, that Smith Rowe will be used more as a wider player. I think that's the way you go with him. He may eventually come in, but I think they're going to be a little more like a Grealish sort of a player. We desperately need a number 8, even though Odegaard took that number. We need someone that's going to that type of player. We need a goal-scoring midfield player,
and someone who's unpredictable, don't you think? You know, because many people don't know him, so and he can go both ways. He can shoot with left and right. Somebody who's got a bit of trickery. Somebody who's happy to run beyond the striker, as you said, Lee. Somebody who is an added threat.
Yeah, exactly. Someone that's going to take the pressures because they're not all the time the striker's going to score, Kev. You know, they're going to be like for instance on Saturday, then they're going to find it tough up against that bet. So, like, you've got to do something that's going to change it, something that's going to just shift and someone going in there. I remember Leicester. We played Leicester first game of the season a couple of years ago. Like, we was 3-2 down, 15 minutes to come on. We chucked Aaron Ramsey on. He's the one that gets in beyond the box, scores. We end up, remember the Giroud header, like, but we win the game because all of a sudden they were, you know, we can play in front. You can play in front of us, do what you want to do. All of a sudden, someone was going in behind them, and it changed the game. We haven't got that player. Odegaard's not that player. Smith Rowe's more of a runner, you know what I mean, with the ball. He's not one of those players that's going to go box to box. We need that player, you know, that can play it into the forward, and then before you know it, the forward plays it back. Odegaard then plays the ball forward to that third man running. We haven't got that. We haven't got a third man running.
Yeah, no, Lee, I totally get that. Look, we got a super chat in from Eric Yago. He says, play Tavares and Ainsley, Maitland-Niles as wing-backs in a 3-4-3 formation, and Odegaard, Saka and Oba as a front three. This will allow Sambi and Xhaka to be closer to each other. Pepe, Smith, Laka as super subs. What's your thoughts on that, Dan?
Yeah, I like it. I
Yeah.
think it's the only way we're going to try and do something against this Manchester City side. And I know we're going to come on to that in a bit, but I honestly believe that we'd like to see something different, not just against Man City. Moving forward, show me something different. I'd like to have seen something different against Chelsea, and I think that we need to now see that. The last time we reverted to that, we ended up going on a run and beating Manchester City and Chelsea. I know it's the FA Cup, it's a different competition, but you get my point. We actually looked like we were playing more counter-attacking style football with the balls over the top for Aubameyang from Tierney to run onto, with Maitland-Niles, and at the time we had Saka winging down each of those wings. So I'm a huge fan of it, to be honest, and I'd like to see something different from this manager. So it's a good super chat, that. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I always think against the big teams, we could do this. Go with a back, particularly away from home, Kev. You know what I mean? Like,
so it's more 5, isn't it? It's more 5.
Yeah. Be 5.
Just to be dogged, just to no gaps.
And it teams on the break, you know. And I think that if we done that against City, Liverpool, Manchester United, dare I say it, Spurs, those sort of teams there, you know, you could put Chelsea in that as well, and maybe even Everton, and go play that sort of way. I think it would give us a platform. You know what I mean? Be more tougher to beat, but also posing problems by hitting teams on the counter attack. What teams do to us at times? You know what I mean? Like, you know, make the back 4 edgy, and you do that by. You know, listen, whatever you think about Manchester City, whatever that, they will be on the halfway line, even maybe pushing into our own half. So there's going to be 30, 40, 50 yards behind them. We have to exploit that. There will be gaps.
And here's the key, Lee, I don't want to jump onto Man City because we're going to obviously deal with them. But even last night, there were certain things that happened at the back that worried me, right? Yeah. Because we were playing in little areas, and it's like we didn't get caught, but against better opposition, they would have trapped us.
Yeah.
They would have really trapped us. So in the end, we ended up having to deal with whatever shots they had to throw at us. And I thought Ramsdale, who I didn't know too much about, I had to do my research on him, to be honest with you. I didn't know enough about him. I thought whatever he had to do, he'd done it really well. The ball at his feet was comfortable. There was times where, look, the press was on and he didn't mess around with it. He put it a lot further up the pitch. Coming for crosses, he was good, and shot stopping was good. What's your thoughts, guys, on Aaron Ramsdale?
Go on, Lee.
Do you know what? I think it was a perfect debut for him. I can't, you know what I mean? I think before that game, there would have been a little bit of pressure on him. Not going to lie. I felt that, you know, he probably going to feel the pressure. But ultimately, in my opinion, he shouldn't have been as busy as what he was, but he was. But I think at the end of in hindsight now, looking at it, I think it was perfect. Like, great, you know what I mean? I think that it went exactly as it should have done for him. I was impressed with his shot stop. He made some really good stuff. I think he grew into the game and got confident, you know. And it was a really good debut for him, like, you know. And I was impressed. I don't know if you can remember. You remember when Pepe went through and he hit the bar?
Second half. Yeah.
But if you go back to that, it went to the keeper, went to the right side of the defence. I think it went back to Ramsdale. He pushed it out to the left, and that's where we broke on the left. Very, very comfortable on the ball. I was impressed with him. I know it's only West Brom. I know you've got to say that, but ultimately, I thought he done really well. I'm really pleased that he did well as well, like, because I think there was pressure on him.
Dan, what's your thoughts?
I have to agree. I have to agree on Ramsdale. Big up Buvey, by the way. How you doing, Buvey?
Good to see you guys.
Hi, Buvey. Yeah. You all right?
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Right.
Cheers for joining us, man. We're gonna talk Man City in a minute. We're literally just finishing up. We're just talking about Ramsdale. Then we're gonna move on to the weekend's game. But for me, Ramsdale, I wasn't amazed by the signing, just for the pure fact that I thought it was a lot of money. for a young goalkeeper. But if Leno is actually not interested in being at the club long term, then let's just give this kid the chance to be number one and develop him for the season. There's no point of keeping him on the bench now and having Leno just go, cheers for that, I'm off anyway. I would just play Ramsdale now. And I know that's not going to happen. We all know Leno's going to be number one. But if Ramsdale, the one that we want for the future and the one that at the moment Arteta wants for however long he's going to be here, and I'm sure we'll discuss that soon, I think personally, let's just play Ramsdale now, because I don't see, and I don't know what you think, Lee, I don't think Leno is going to be here long term. But from what we hear, if the rumours are true, he's not going to sign a new contract. He's got 2 years left. So let's just play Ramsdale. Let him go.
I don't know, but you know what? I don't care. You know, this is it. We've got 2 good goalkeepers now, and that's what that is the mentality that we've got to start having now. We've got to have, you know, there's all like, oh, well, what happens if we get a wild comes in? Who's going to be? I don't care. Get them in, like, you know what I mean? Like, Man City don't worry about who they're going to get in and who they're not.
Hey, hold on, Lee. Hold on. Have you seen Buvey smiling in the corner? Well, these guys don't have that problem, do they? They don't have that problem.
We can talk to Buvey in a minute about this. Is like when they sign Grealish, I don't turn around and go, oh, what's going to happen with Sterling, or what's going to happen
Bernardo
with
Silva?
Get them in, and you know, don't care, and that's what we've got to do. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, let them fight it out, and if Leno, look, listen, I think at the end of the day, Leno's got real competition now, you know, and I thought he played very, very well against Chelsea. I know we lost, but he made some good saves and all that. And you need competition in all different places, and I think that's important. And let them fight it out.
No need for complacency. I agree with you, Lee and Dan. Hi, Buvey. Welcome to Chatting with Campbell. Buvey, I just want to get straight into it with you, because where do you see Man City right now? And do you need a striker?
Yeah, we do need a striker. I think any Man City fan will tell you that Harry Kane would have been the dream scenario, obviously. I think any City fan would have also said it's greedy. It's greedy. We spent 100 million quid on one guy. That's mad for any City fan to think. And then for 150 mil, 160 mil for the captain of England was crazy. We do need a number 9. Jesus isn't good enough. You can't win. I don't think we can win back-to-back Premier Leagues with a false 9. We're the first club in English football history, I think, to basically win a Premier League without a recognised striker. Certainly in the Premier League era, you think of Drogba, Henry, Rooney. Every big club that's won a Premier League has had a striker with 20 plus goals, except Man City last season. I think Ronaldo makes a lot of sense. You know, obviously a guy that scored tons of goals against Arsenal for United, and I think he's the kind of guy that would absolutely fit our profile. I think he's more than good enough. The guy scored over 101 goals and 134 appearances for Juventus. It's crazy how good he still is.
It's mad. It's mad. I mean, look, we Gunners don't have that luxury. But obviously going into the game at the weekend, and I'll speak to everybody on this, obviously Arsenal go into it as underdogs. And what's your thoughts? I'm going to go to Buvey first about just his thoughts on Manchester City and what they actually think. What do you think of Arsenal? Do you know what I mean? Do you think of Arsenal? Obviously, we're a big club.
You've asked him now.
But you got to listen. Let's get to it straight now. Obviously, Arsenal was still a big club, but they're not where they should be, or not where they. What's your thoughts on that, Buvey?
Look, I've got to be completely real. You spent a lot of money. You spent over 135 million quid this summer, and somehow Arsenal have got a worse squad than they had last season. You've got a worse squad. I don't think Ramsdale improves you. I don't think he's the sort of keeper. The guy's been relegated 4 of the last 5 seasons. He's been a professional goalkeeper at various levels of the English football pyramid. I think you look at Pepe, he's been an awful signing. You've got an old Aubameyang, you got Willian, Xhaka on a long-term contract could happen, I believe. You look at
Willian's gone now, mate. He's terminated, so come on. Give us some credit.
But, you look at Mari, for example. You look at even, you rely on Tierney so much, and he's always got injuries. I just think you've been mismanaged. I think you could have spent 135 million quid a lot better. I think you could be backing a much better manager. I think with that squad, I think you could be you're higher than 8th with that squad. And the proof's in the pudding. So you spent a lot of money on this squad. 75 million quid. Not many clubs in world football can spend 75 million quid on a winger and get it so badly wrong as Arsenal have. The banter is because obviously Arsenal are a club that I've admired when I was a kid growing up watching City. you lads were rolling penalties, with Pires and Henry and taking the mickey out of us, when we were, still at Main Road and all that. So you look at Arsenal, I think you're just poorly managed. I think you're really poorly managed as a club.
See, this is why I invited Buvey on, because he says it how it is exactly what I've been saying for so long. Godly.
It is interesting, isn't it, that to see someone from the outside saying it. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't disagree with what is being said there. Like, I think there is a lot of mismanaging with Arsenal. Ultimately, but I will have a little dig at here, Manchester City. Like, all that money and they've not got a forward. You know what I mean? So is that mismanagement? You know what I mean? So because I've been serious now. I feel that Manchester City, like Chelsea to me are the favourites to win now because they've gone and signed Lukaku. Like, I think it just makes them that bit stronger. And City have got to react. And I think that if they'd have got Harry Kane, then it goes back to Manchester City.
It's what I mean? Yeah.
It was, but now who do they go for? Do you know what? I think that they've done the right thing. I don't think that Manchester City has as much money as they got. To pay 150 million for Harry Kane wasn't the right thing for them. You know what I mean? Because he's 28 years of age. Blah 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 blah. You got Mbappe is probably going to go to Madrid for less. And for me, he's a better player in 22. You got Haaland over in Dortmund that you can go for maybe next year. So I think that this is where I think there's a plan with Man City. I'll tell you what, we'll bring Ronaldo in for a year or two, and then we go for Haaland that you can see what's coming, and that is what Arsenal got to do. And this is why I'm a little bit annoyed about Arsenal that we went for a while all the last season. That's why I think it's important that Arsenal go and get a while, is because they've gone for him all last season, and if you don't go and get him this season, it just turns around and just says like, well, what is your plan? What is your strategy when you have a look at it? Manchester United went for Sancho last season, couldn't get him, but they've waited and got him this season. Like, Arsenal is like a scattergun. Oh, who can we get? Like, oh, we've got someone. And I see with Man City, they've had a little rethink, Manchester City, and thought, do you know what? I don't know. In the background, it may be someone's turned around to them and said, do you know what? You can get Ronaldo here, and I think maybe they've gone, right, okay, we ain't going to go no more on Harry Kane, because, and I like that. Proper management, isn't it?
Yeah, but Lee, here's one thing I will say. I think the recruitment, we could talk about mismanagement all we like. Arsenal have spent money in the last 5 seasons.
Yeah, but look at what we spent it on.
No. Dan, give me a chance. I'm getting to that, Dan. The recruitment part of it, and I want to speak to Buvey on this one, and then we'll go to you, Dan, and then you, Lee. I think getting the recruitment right is crucial to any football club with ambition. If you don't get the recruitment right, you are going to struggle. And I think the likes of Manchester City tend to get it. They've had their mishaps, but they tend to get it right more times than not. Is that right, Buvey?
Yeah, no, look, I think the big example that a lot of people forget is Guardiola's first season at City was really tough. We got smashed at Leicester, I remember.
Everton,
really tough games. Yeah, really, really bad games. And
remember that one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we still beat you that season, didn't we? Or anyway,
right,
we definitely beat you in the League Cup final the following season. Anyway, that was pretty easy. But anyway,
go on, Buvey.
Look, Guardiola had that first season. It was really tough, and everyone questioned his ability in England. And look, I know we got the checkbook out to a level even Arsenal couldn't compete with in terms of the finances. I get that, but in that window, we signed Ederson, Bernardo Silva, Mendy. Let's not talk about him for obvious reasons, but a decent fullback on his day back then. Kyle Walker. We signed a couple of others as well. In one transfer window, we went from scraping top 4 to going on to winning a double, obviously at the League Cup final against Arsenal, just to remind you guys again, and getting 100 points in the Premier League, being Centurions. And that happened in one transfer window. So for Arsenal fans to not think that if you're spending 150 million quid, you couldn't go from 8th to 4th with some really good investment. It's out there. There's great value out there. It's just that I don't know what he's doing in his office, but is what it is.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Buvey, here's the problem. When you're Manchester City and you got an open checkbook, it's different to when you haven't, because you still need the mentality. We're talking about an Arsenal here who have an opportunity to sign Kante or Xhaka, right? And look who we end up with.
Yeah.
So that's the point. Dan, what's your thoughts on Manchester City's recruitment? And don't forget, they don't always get it right, but most of the time they tend to get it right. And our recruitment has been horrendous.
I think where the difference is with Manchester City is they've got that one signing they've always needed, I think. For example, they didn't win the league and they went and got Ruben Dias, and straight away they looked completely different, in my opinion, at the back. They always go and get that one signing that they need. And I think that what they need now is that one signing. They're going to get it. It's got to be Ronaldo, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's going to happen now. It looks to me like it's going to happen.
It's going to set Manchester alight. I know that.
It would be good, but would it be good though? Wouldn't it be good? I mean, listen, we're not going to get to see it because we're going to be miles down, in my opinion, back in 11.
I get to see it every week. I'm in it every week up here.
This is going to be great. Them having a little bit of their own Van Persie.
It will be.
No, but not only that. Don't forget Tevez and all that. It's all going to go, isn't it? It's all happening.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? But I think when you compare it to our recruitment has been shambolic for the last 15 years, in my opinion, Casey. I mean, we're still people are saying now that we've got a new regime and it's different. It isn't, because we're still making the same mistakes. We needed a centre-half, we went for David Luiz. We needed a winger, we went for Willian. You know, back in 2008, we went for Sylvester and Ben Ayoun. Things haven't changed. It's exactly the same. So I look at the situation and think we need to upgrade on what we're doing. Yes, we've got some right, but we've still got a lot wrong, Casey. Yeah, with Willian and Ceballos and Runnerson. Yeah, who the hell signed him? You know, we're still getting these mistakes wrong. Pablo Marie, Cedric. There is some great ones as well. The Kieran Tierney's, the Gabriel Party. I like it a lot. Odergaard is a good player. Not elite, but good. So I want to see us get some more of those. More of those.
I will say, though, that there's more pressure on Arsenal and other teams, not just Arsenal, West Ham, everybody than Man City. For instance, they went and spent 50-odd million on Eke. And then in the same transfer window, went and bought Diaz. You know what I mean? Like, now, not many teams can do that. You know, so you know, they're a little bit less pressure.
They're at Harrods. They're at Harrods, and
they're at Harrods. And, you know what I mean? And they've done one buying 2 Louis Vuitton bags.
We're at M&S. We're at M&S.
But City are going for Champions Leagues and we're going for Premier League titles. I don't think Arsenal are going to win a Premier League title in at least 10 to 15 years. The way you're going.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly
your
right.
Trajectory. What I'm saying is, you're currently 8th. You finished back-to-back 8th. If you told me when I was a kid that Arsenal in a brand new stadium were ever going to finish 8th, you know, I would have said you're completely lying. But for 2 seasons to come 8th is unbelievable. Can you go to 4th with 140 million spend? Can you go to 4th? Can you get into the top 3? I think that's possible with the right signings. I don't think you're going to win the Premier League in a long time, but getting into that top 4 is what you're looking for.
Yeah, and when you think about it, the likes of Liverpool and Man United have not gone massively well, where you would think, right,
they don't need to, Lee.
Well, no, they do if they want to go and win the title.
But they don't need to. Manchester United bring 2 players in, 2 key players, Varane and Sancho.
Yeah, but it's not enough, is it?
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we?
No, it's not enough. They need a Harry Kane. If they had signed Harry Kane as well, they would be, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. They need a centre forward as well.
They would have been in the mix. What I'm saying is that those 2 clubs, Liverpool and Manchester United, have not gone, all right, we're going to go gun-ho for City and Chelsea. So they're basically, Arsenal could have caught them up with good investment. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. They've not gone.
Lee, we're way behind. I think we're way behind.
Yeah. Well, we're way behind. But what I'm saying is, we've spent 100. We've actually could have closed the gap because they've gone up 1 level instead of going up 2 or 3. You know, we're on the ground floor. We are, like, do you know?
No, we're in the basement. We are.
We're on the basement, like, do you know what I mean? Like, look, we're still pressing the button. Like, it ain't working.
We're pressing. It's not working. We're you know, when you got to speak to the operator, we're pressing that. And nobody wants to speak to us. So, all right, guys. All right, then, guys. The weekend at the Etihad. What happens, Buvey? What's the score? What happens?
Look, I think if you leave there 3-0, be a big achievement for you lot in terms of goal difference. I think it will be 3 or 4-0 to us. It should be really. The issue is, I thought against Chelsea, you lot would be really stubborn, realise how much of a mountain you guys have got to climb after how bad Brentford was. I thought Brentford was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from your club ever, to be honest. I thought it was that bad. So I thought against Chelsea, you'd react, play a back five, play a bit ugly, try and scrape a 1-1 draw, something like that. And you just let them walk into the Emirates and just take what they wanted. So as if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd hope for that back five to come now. Obviously, as a City fan, I'm hoping that you play that back four, because I thought you got completely exposed and completely dominated and bullied. And if City rock up and play anywhere at the level we did against Norwich, Jack Grealish overlapping, you're thinking, Ferran Torres with his movement, Mahrez, De Bruyne should be back as well. It's scary for you lot, but obviously, you are a massive club in terms of coming up to City, and the rivalry that we have both had. You can always nick a goal at the Etihad, and anything can happen, obviously. But if it goes the way it should go, it should be 3-4-0, to be honest.
So you're expecting a trouncing. What about you, Lee?
Well, do you know what? Listen, fine lines in it. We've got to hope that City turn up, the same City turn up as the one at Tottenham, where they should have been 2 or 3-0 up and they missed chances. So we're going to have to ride our luck, and then hopefully nick them on the counter attack. Because I'll tell you what, the one thing that I'm going to say this now, he won't make the same mistake against us that he did against Tottenham by not playing Walker and people like that. They was very, very susceptible to the counter attack. They were shaky, you know what I mean? But now obviously they won't be stupid enough not to play Walker and things like that. So we're up against it. Listen, we need something. We need one of Stones to do something stupid, get sent off in the first couple of minutes or something like that, to just help us out. We need a little bit. We need to ride our luck.
We need a break.
We need a break. We need a big, massive break of some sort. I can't see it happening. I'm a little bit more. I think that 2-0. I think that City will win it. I don't think City are that. I probably shouldn't say this now. I don't think City are that ruthless at this moment in time. They've got good players and all that, but I don't think they're clinical. I think if they had someone like Harry Kane in their team and all that, it could be 5, 6, 7. That's our difference. That's the difference, I think, with Man City and all that. But I don't think they're clinical, as what they should be. But they'll still be too much for us. And I agree with saying there about, and that is a great point you made. Chelsea just come to the Emirates and just but basically left the door open. They come and took whatever they wanted. That should never happen. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, Manchester City will not let that happen with us.
Dan, what's your thoughts on it, Dan?
3-0 City. I think it'll be a comfortable win. I don't expect anything less, and I don't think this is the game for us to expect anything less, if I'm honest with you. They're a great side, even without a striker. I think Jesus is probably one of the most overrated players in the Premier League. I just never have understood it. Don't get it at all. I think we can definitely upgrade on him. Yeah, it probably will be. And the next thing I was actually going to say was he'll probably will score against us. I actually was going to say that. But I do honestly believe that we are in serious trouble, because. And it's nothing to do with the players. It's nothing to do with, how Man City are going to line up. It's because we have a clueless manager who does not have a clue what he's doing. So I think we're going to be in a situation, if you allow, Buvey's just said it. He allowed Brentford to bully us, and he didn't know how to handle Lukaku or set up against Chelsea. He's not going to know what to do against Man City, because he's proved already that he can't set up against Man City. The FA Cup was the only thing that I saw where we decided to change. And then Pep thought, okay, how are we going to do this? I didn't expect that. So if we don't see that, and Buvey's right, if we do go with the back three and we start to change the formation, Mikel Arteta might have woken up and decided that perhaps it's not good to put Pablo Mari in the middle when he can't, because he's not going to be bullied, by the way. It's going to be pace now that Pablo Mari is going to be done by, because he can't move, the guy. Yeah, so we have to look at that situation seriously. And I am worried, because I think they've got some players that can really hurt us. In the system that we play, the negative tactics, the lack of style, there's no attacking-minded football, in my opinion. And you can bring up last night if you want, but they ain't going to be 18-year-olds we're playing on Saturday. Trust me, we're going to be playing proper men that know how to win football matches. So it's going to be completely different. So I don't see a good one. I think we have to just kind of do what we can to try not to get thumped. That's all I'm looking at. Don't get thumped and then look to Norwich the week after, because we're not competing with Man City, mate. Like you say, KC, they're in Harrods, we're in Lidl, mate, not M&S.
We're in Lidl, yeah. It's true. Look,
they showed vulnerability against Spurs. Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
No, but that was the first game, Lee.
That
was the first game. And do you know what?
They showed vulnerability.
But if
they went against us,
Spurs are a European side, by the way, as well. They play in Europe, so it's different levels.
Yeah.
Who invited him on?
Hold on a minute. Hey, hold on. They're on the easy jet, pal. Don't worry about that. What I will say is this: on the first game of the season, we've seen crazy results in the past. We've seen it this season. Crazy results happen. But as teams like Man City, they're getting their players back and decisions get made, like leaving Walker out and all. These decisions get made. But once you're the third game, fourth game in, no. You tend to get a feeling for what the team's going to do. And Manchester City, are super strong. And they are a striker away from really challenging on all fronts, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Buvey, I want to ask you this as we've got you. What's your ambition for the season for Manchester City right now? And if you get a striker?
Look, I think we've got to remember that City were 3 games away from winning a quadruple without a striker last season, which was, incredible. And some of the football we saw last season was incredible. Look, the striker will obviously enable us to play a lower play in a lower gear and get past mid-table sides like, Burnley, Newcastle, pick up 3 points a little bit easier, conserve energy. We all know why we need a striker. I think just winning the Premier League, I don't buy the Champions League. Look, I'd love City to have won the Champions League, in May. It didn't happen. I could do a 4-hour podcast of everything that went wrong in that game. For me, the Premier League is the most important thing for any club in the Premier League at the start of the season. It's the division that you play. It's 38 games of consistency. It's the best league in the world. The Champions League it comes after that, in my opinion. So if we just win the Premier League, retain the Premier League with the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool looking amazing, United spending tons of money yet again, that's all that a City fan can ask for, really. And then anything on top is a bonus. But obviously, if we get to another Champions League final and we don't play a defensive midfielder, I'm going AWOL from football again.
Yeah, that was a strange decision from Pep. I don't forget, guys. Let me ask you this: could you believe it when there was no defensive midfielder in the Champions League final?
Unbelievable! I didn't get it.
He has a brain freeze every now and then. He was obviously on the milkshakes because that's what he done there. He's because. And old Mikel, he follows suit. You know what I mean? I reckon he's on the front. I tell you what, semi-final. What do you reckon, Pep? He's on the old milkshakes. He's turned around and said, "Don't play her false. No one we can do it." You know what I mean? Because we've done it. But he's done that. I don't know what he was thinking there. I'll be honest with him against Tottenham. I looked at it and I said, "What are you doing? Why ain't Walker playing in that game when you know that you're going to get on a counter attack?" And it may be because he weren't quite ready, but he does do every now and then. He does do a silly thing every now and then, Pep, So unfortunately, Mikel does more.
Is there one Arsenal player who you would take?
Granit Xhaka, mate. You need.
How long have we got? Sorry, lads. I don't know how long we got. Are we running late?
No, it's just the one. Just the one player who you would take out of Arsenal squad.
Maybe I'll take your kit man. I think your kit man does a good job with, I'll take the guy who designs your kit.
We've got a better kit than Manchester. Your kit's
you got a nice Adidas kit. You got the bruised banana thing going on every now and then in right adverts. It's great. You know what I mean? I'd take that guy. I'd take the marketing guy for Adidas. I wouldn't take any of his squad. No offense. I wouldn't take any of them.
You wouldn't take Kieran Tierney, Buvey? You wouldn't take Aubameyang? No.
No, I don't. I think Tierney.
Well, they're left back now, don't they?
I think you lads are completely overhyping Tierney just because he shows more passion. Look, don't get me wrong, he shows so much passion. He's an unbelievable kind of energy for your squad. He wouldn't even make your bench if it was 2006. He wouldn't even make your bench. He's so overrated. It's unbelievable. But that's just the issue of, when you're at that level now
that's
of being
where we are.
Any, Richard Dunn for Man City was our legend because he was the only half decent player at the squad. Back in the day. Tierney's bang average. He wouldn't make Chelsea's bench. He wouldn't make City's bench. He wouldn't make United's bench. That's just the truth.
Dan, Lee, look at Lee.
I'm not having that because, like, if Man City do have a weakness, it is their left back. You know what I mean? Because Mendy was like he was an embarrassment. He was an embarrassment against Spurs. I thought but they've got the other guy,
Zinchenko. He's done well. He's decent, and he'll do well. But I think that you could I think that this is Manchester City, they've got an array of talent and riches, aren't they? Like, you know what I mean? I don't think, if they take anybody from Tottenham, it would be Harry Kane, no one else. If they took someone from Manchester United, they wouldn't take no one from Manchester United because they haven't got a striker. They'd probably take Lukaku from Chelsea. And I'll tell you what, from Everton, they'd probably take Calvert-Lewin. But I don't think that's the only thing Man City need is a striker. In every other position, they're as strong as an ox, aren't they? Yeah, but that's damning for the Arsenal, isn't it? That really,
really, it's damning.
And how? Yeah, but no, it's damning for Arsenal because I'm sure if you asked Chelsea, who would they take? Man United, who would they take? There won't be many. I think the kit man might get more votes than anybody else at times. So that's damning for Arsenal. But look, for me, it's interesting speaking to Buvey because where Manchester City are and where Arsenal are, there's two different levels. Like we say, they're at Harrods and it's for us to try and get there. We don't have the money of Manchester City. So how could we expect the same output as Manchester City if we don't have to make the same money? We don't recruit the same. The fans want the same. But which fan doesn't want to be up there? We're used to being up there.
I've got to say, though, sorry to interject. I've got to say, look, the Man City thing is an anomaly because I'm not expecting Arsenal to go out and spend 150 million quid on fullbacks. And obviously, that's levels that no City fan ever expected us to get to financially. But you look at Leicester, how they signed Fofana, for example. You think of the lads they've brought in this summer, James Maddison from the Championship.
Great example.
And they came fifth and they won an FA Cup, twice. That's a much higher level than Arsenal. At the end of the day, Leicester have got way less revenue coming in anyway. They got poorer owners. Obviously they're all rich guys anyway. And you guys are charging the most expensive season tickets in the country. Some in the Europe for the Emirates. You should have some massive revenue coming in.
Listen, we've touched on that, Buvey. Don't start getting me upset now, mate. Our recruitment is the worst in the Premier League. Let's have it right. Our recruitment has been the worst. For the last 10 years, our recruitment's been appalling. Because
is that Edu? You lads know.
And that's not down to Edu, because Edu wasn't there 10 years ago. So it was under Arsene Wenger's regime, going into Emery, and whether we like it or not, Mikel Arteta has had to try and go a different route because we do not have the money to spend 100-odd million pounds on fullbacks. We don't. So what he's got to do, he's got to try and go younger. I think that's all right to go.
But we have won trophies. As Sophie's in the chat, and she just turned around and said, we have won 4 FA Cups that sort of gets dismissed. But when Leicester do it, Leicester won the FA Cup last year.
But Lee, Leicester and Arsenal, as clubs,
it's the way it's being run, Casey, as well. Leicester are a very well-run club, in my opinion. The way they've been run, their recruitment, their owner cares. Our owner does not give a damn, mate. Yeah, he does not care. The only way I see this club, someone mentioned it in the super chat earlier, do we get Arsenal back? For me, it is new owners because these owners might spend money, but they don't care who they're giving this money to because the board are clueless and they're giving a manager a yes man. I want to ask Buvey a question just quickly, if you don't mind, Casey, about Arteta.
Yeah, of course.
Because obviously, listen, Buvey, he was with you guys and everyone. He was a brilliant assistant, apparently. But are you shocked by what Arteta's doing? What did you expect of him and what have you made of Arteta or Arsenal?
I'm going to be completely real. Look, he was loved by a lot of players, especially Raheem Sterling. Actually, see when he left for Arsenal mid-season, Sterling's form dropped because he was a guy that put his arm around Raheem Sterling. So on a sort of personal level, there's a likability factor. There is a thing for me, and maybe this is a bit of a, I'm not sure how scientific or accurate this is, but I look at the player's caliber sometimes, and I always thought of Arteta as someone that wasn't world class. It doesn't always matter because Ferguson wasn't a world class player, and Mourinho never played football at any high level, but sometimes you look at some of these players and you think Zidane, for instance, has a real, respect in the changing room. And for me, Arteta, not really an Arsenal legend, came in at the back end of his career, a bit of an Everton legend, always injured. He was a good player. He was a class player on his day. He was never world class. I'd look at Arteta a little bit like I would look at Odergaard Solskjaer if I was an elite player and think, these guys, I'm not sure if I'm shitting myself if I have a bad performance. So for me, when Arteta left, I thought it was the wrong manager. I thought I would have gone old and experienced. The fact that Ancelotti went to Everton and he could have joined Arsenal for a couple of seasons, or even Conte. Conte went to. Don't forget, Conte went to Inter Milan, a side that are really in debt. They had to sign, Ashley Young and Victor Moses and stuff like that. So it's a bit like Arsenal in terms of financially being restrained. Why not go for Conte or Ancelotti? It's crazy.
Yeah, they never went for them. And Arsenal have had two opportunities, Buvey, to go for the experienced manager. When Arsene Wenger left and when Emery got sacked. They never took it. And that tells you which way that the owners want to go. Because if you go and recruit a manager with a big reputation, what's the first thing he's going to need? He's going to need money to spend.
Yeah, Conte didn't at Inter Milan.
No, he did. He recruited
similar ballpark money. I'm not, not to split hairs, but
what we got to look at is if you go to Inter and you go to Arsenal, where is the money gonna stretch better? It's gonna stretch better at Inter because really there's only really Juventus there who you've got to chase. In the Premier League, you got yourselves, you got Man City, you got Man United, you got Chelsea, you got Liverpool. There's a lot more teams, and the fact of the matter is, when you stand still in the Premier League, you get passed. And I think this is the biggest problem for Arsenal because the likes of Leicester have passed us. West Ham now have passed us in terms of consistency, etc. And that's just because they've recruited better. We've had to ship players. We've had to pay players to leave, Buvey. That's how bad it's got. We've had to pay them off to
Everton,
leave.
Rafa Benitez. That's a great example. Rafa Benitez did it at Newcastle. I know it's ugly. It's not the Arsenal way. Rafa Benitez would have got you into the top 6 for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know
Rafa, that was the one.
Yeah.
But
listen, David Moyes has done a
money.
great job at West Ham, hasn't he? Look what he's done at West Ham because he's experienced. He's been around the block.
But even he would need money because at the end of the day, Everton have spent money as well. Everton have spent a lot of money. So for an experienced manager to come in, I could work with him. Yeah, there's still holes in it. West Ham, a couple of seasons ago, they just avoided relegation.
Yeah.
But what David Moyes has done, he's brought players in. They were adding players, but what he's done is got the defensive side right. He's got the defensive side right, so they're hard to beat. And then all of a sudden, they've found Antonio to be someone who can cause real problems at the top end of the pitch. You add Berama in there, Bowen, and then all of a sudden...
How much they cost, those lads? Bowen came from the Championship, Antonio came from the Championship, and Benrahma came from the Championship. There's players that you could have signed. You could have signed Benrahma.
No, Buvey, here's the thing. No. We signed Odergaard from Real Madrid, and our fan base goes into meltdown. He's too expensive for 30 million.
Yeah, you got higher expectations, and rightly so. But I think there's a level in between what you're saying because Conte didn't spend that much money. You got Sanchez, Young, Moses. They already had a spine there. But Lukaku was relatively cheap coming out of United because they wanted to get rid of him. I think Arsenal could be doing better, couldn't they? I think you guys really.
We have spent money. We have spent money. We got the front three that is the most expensive in the Premier League that now can't score because the manager's clueless. So listen, Conte would get better results out of that front three. I don't care what anybody says. We would see a more balance. We'd see a style of play, and he wins with teams that are struggling. Look what we did with Chelsea. Chelsea were out of Europe, and we just beat them 3-0 at the Emirates, and then he went to a back three, and they went and won the league. And we were the 17th team in that league to go back to a three. That's how slow we are as a club to work out that's what everyone's doing. We still haven't learned. Conte would come in and would take us to that level. Mikel Arteta cannot do that. I tell you, if Mikel, let me ask you a question, Casey, because I know you love Mikel Arteta, right? If Mikel Arteta was
Dan,
the
hold
manager
on.
of
No, Dan, you're not going to put that on me. Here's the thing. I don't love Mikel Arteta. I back Mikel Arteta because he's the manager. I respect that because he's the manager. And I understand where the club are right now. The club are not where they need to be for any manager. Because so do you seriously believe if Conte came in with these players, he would get better results?
100%.
With these players?
Yep, 100%.
So
you don't think he would?
So Wenger couldn't do it. Emery couldn't do it. Arteta couldn't do it.
Different players.
Sorry?
Different players.
No, but we're talking
These
about
aren't Wenger
experience.
players no more.
No, I'm saying our consistency isn't there and hasn't been there for 10 years. So if Wenger, who's is most experienced manager, our best manager ever, couldn't do it, Emery, who's a very experienced manager, can't do it. We've had Freddie for a bit. Arteta, yeah, he has won a trophy, but that's not enough. We need consistency. You think with this present team here, we would have done better?
If Conte comes in,
I beg to differ.
If Conte comes in, he will finish ahead of Mikel Arteta. Conte won't finish 8th 2 years in a row, Casey. No chance. No chance.
But that's not what the question is. Would he do better? Would we be more consistent?
100% we will. He's done it. He's proven it with
right,
Bari, Juventus, Inter Milan, and Chelsea.
But he leaves quickly. He does leave quickly. He's a volatile manager, and even Ancelotti. You know, I mentioned Ancelotti or Rafa Benitez. They are 2-year managers, and whatever you say, I don't think Arteta's the right guy.
He will improve us.
But it does matter, Dan, because it's not about 2 years. It's about the longevity of it.
Yeah, but
Casey,
exactly. We've been talking about the longevity for ages, and we've seen 3 generations of players now. We've seen generations of players that haven't been able to do it. And this guy is now setting another generation, and he's setting another young crop of players for the next 5 years. And Arteta is not going to be here in 5 years. 5 weeks, he might be gone.
Dan, he might not be there in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
But here's the problem. The board have had 2 opportunities to sign an experienced manager, and they haven't taken it. What does that tell you?
That is why I point the fingers at the ownership.
But it's all very well. But what my point is this: it's all very well talking about who you want, but it's not realistic because we've had 2 opportunities and we've never taken it.
And that's why I want the others out.
I think you're all right. They've got to the next time if they are to get rid of Arteta, they have to go for an experienced manager. They have
and
to
they have to back him.
Yeah, they have to do that. But whether they will or not, I don't.
Buvey, how much would you want for Pep?
I don't think you could pay him enough to want to go to Arsenal. But there's the irony.
Hold on a minute. He went to City. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we've got the best training academy in Europe. We've got the best squad in the world.
You got the what?
The best training academy. Have you been to the Etihad campus? It's unbelievable.
Excuse me. I know the Etihad campus better than you. My son was in the academy. So how is it the best? So how is it the best?
Of course it is. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
So it's better than Chelsea's.
Yeah, I've been.
No.
No.
Aesthetically, it may look the best, but it's what you.
No, I'm talking about the science. The quality of the grass is unbelievable.
No, it's what you produce in that. Phil Foden, great player, of course, unbelievable player.
Jadon Sancho.
No, Jadon Sancho. It's not at Manchester City.
He was produced at City, of course
No,
he was.
Wasn't.
He was
He
Academy
signed him
Player
up
of the
for
Year multiple times.
70. They were in the same side. I know them. I know it. Buvey, this is what you can't win with me. I'm telling you. Trust me. You're a City man, but you can't win this one with me.
You can't deny City had everything built for Guardiola, even in terms of the playing style. You know, I've been up there and spoken to the women's manager, for example, the under-21s, under-19s. Obviously, you'll know this. They were all playing a Barcelona kind of hybrid, all the way through. So there's no wonder that he wanted to join City, because it's built for him. And ultimately, we're going to be the longest serving club that he'll ever manage. You know, he's created history in England. He's changed football in England. And there's obviously no question, he'd ever want to leave for another English club, let alone a mid-table club. I mean, come on.
So, Buvey, how long do you reckon he stays?
Look, I think you'll see out 2023. So that's two more full seasons.
Years.
I think it is. I think there's a good chance he signs another 2 years. I think you'll look at it and think, once I'm out of this game, it's going to be very hard for me to come back in and find a club that can support him in the way that City can. I don't think he wants to move to France. It's a terrible league. I don't think he wants to go back to Barcelona. Bayern Munich's not an option either. So I think he might look at Man City for a couple more years on top of his current deal. Maybe make it around 8 or 9 years in total, and then try Spain for maybe the World Cup in America.
National team.
Yeah, or Brazil. He did actually mention in his interview, briefly that managing Brazil.
That's interesting. Well, it's amazing, guys, how the rich live, isn't it? Now we're not the rich anymore, and Buvey's there. I'll have a couple more years, and we've got the best academy. The grass is unbelievable, by the way, at the Etihad campus. I could tell you that much. But Buvey, listen, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, mate. Thank you so much for coming on. Dan,
cheers, mate.
Dapper Dan, as always, thank you for coming on. Lee Judges, Gianni, always brilliant, and everybody in chat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. And should we do predictions? Score. You've done Buvey's gone 3-0 or 4-0. Dan, you've gone 3-0.
3-0 City, yeah.
What do you say?
I'm going
to go 2-1 to City. I think Arsenal will score, but we just haven't got the horses at the moment. So it's a full house. I hope I'm proved wrong, but hey, Buvey's smiling down the bottom anyway. Look after yourself, everybody, and take good care, and see you next week.